What is good, everybody? What's good, everybody's big game, James. I'm back in these streets and I'm back with my dog, Mike White. Don't worry about how I'm looking. I'm looking crazy. I'm looking funky, but you know what? Hey, we just doing that. You feel me? We can do that right now. I can be crazy. I can look funky. It's a funky world out there with these Dallas Cowboys, so why can't I look crazy and funky? So don't worry about what I'm looking like. Just worry about what Mike drinking the bottom. We talking Cowboys football.
Don't worry about my bottom.
My dog.
What's going on, bud?
Why you look
What?
so sad, Mike?
Why it looks so sad? I don't know. This bum ass team. I mean,
Oh,
I just
that should make you sad. You said you was
it
over that
doesn't
part. I'm
it
happy.
doesn't make me it doesn't make me sad. I think it's hilarious. It just sucks that when you're right about this team, especially when I'm right about this team, which tends to be often, which is it's usually not a good thing. It's like all the problems that we talked about all summer that they had. they're they're here. And then your owner want to talk crazy like y'all don't know football. It's like, do we? I mean, we told you, like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, like we told you. But no, you want to go get Zeke, and and then you lose 9 players and you sign what, a long snapper or something. It's like what do you expect to see? And at the end of the day, they're 3-3. It sure as hell don't feel like it though.
Right.
It don't feel like it
No,
by a damn sight.
I
I mean,
mean it don't feel like that at all, but it feels like worse because everything's going on. But oh, and like I said, don't trip on how I'm looking, man. Don't worry about that. Just listen to what I'm saying. What's up, everybody? Don't even worry about that. We just having fun. But yeah, big with the green screen is crazy. It's all effed up. I just went I freaked this at the last moment because I was gonna do something else, so I just jumped on here. So it is what it is. I don't be caring. If y'all don't care, I don't care. But anyway, like Mike was saying, when you look at this team, it's 3-3, but it feels worse. You know what I'm saying? But now you're getting ready to play a 3-4 San Francisco team, which is the to me. I just made a tweet about it, Mike. This would be the best time for you to beat them because they're hurt just like Dallas is. Now you can test your depth. Now you can see what the coaching is really about. But now this is your probably your best time to do it. What's your thoughts on that?
if you can't, despite your injuries, I mean, because they're missing the chances. Debo may play, but he's going to have a damn hospital wristband on still. Their team is bad, and Purdy hasn't looked good this year, which has made me extremely happy. But who am I to? I don't like watching them play. I don't like watching him play. I don't like when people try to tell me he's some elite quarterback, and I'm like, are we watching the same sport? And then he loses one player, and the wheels start to fall off. He loses 2 players, and the wheels are all the way off. He looked bad on Sunday, real bad. And Kansas City's defense is probably 15 times better than Dallas's is. So it's not that Dallas can do the same thing, but like you're saying, this is your best shot. This is the best swing you've ever had at them as far as their roster is concerned. Because every other time you face them, they've been at like 100%. Like they lost Bosa halfway through one of those games, but they were cooked by them. So if you can't and you go out there and you get embarrassed, somebody's got to go. And I don't care who it is. Somebody's got to go because you can't have that again. You can't have another embarrassing loss like that this early in the damn season. You can have 3 or 4 across the year, right? But clustered
Hmm.
up like this, back
But
to
not
back.
back
Boom,
to
boom,
back.
boom.
I mean,
No, man.
But Jerry Jones said, and I ain't trying to really even get to anything he said because I don't give a hell what he says. I'm not listening to one of his interviews. None. I don't listen to them anymore. So I kind of bounce off the people, Mike, and I bounce off, you, what you tell me as
Mhm.
well. But he said from what I heard, he said he regretted firing Wade the way he did, and he should have listened to some more things Wade was telling him. But we all saw that slide how it happened. Do you think it would be that type of situation? What's up, Andy? Do you think it's that type of situation? If it's another blowout, does he say, "Well, does the coach got to go?" Because this is crazy now. I mean, does he? What does he do? Because he said he
I
made a
don't think
mistake before.
I know
What
because
does
he
he
still
do?
regrets that. He still you're the reason he regrets that is because this is how this stupid gibberish hillbilly brain works. He's never had to fire a coach that he hired, head coach outside of Wade Phillips. If he hadn't fired Wade Phillips, he'd be able to say it's a win in his book because he hired these guys, right? I never had to
Mhm.
fire a coach. They must have been doing something right at the end of the day, or some nonsense like that, because they're going to let McCarthy's contract run out, and they're not going to. It's going to be the same thing Jason Garrett when he was here. He's
Right.
McCarthy
Same
be at
thing.
the Star interviewing with other teams in his damn office with his nameplate still on it, and the day the contract's over, they're going to hire movers and ship him out, just like they did with Jason Garrett. Because this team ain't going to the Super Bowl, much
Nope.
less winning.
Nope.
And he knows that. He's not an idiot. He may be lazy. Well, I mean, he may be an idiot as far as football goes, but not as a human, right? You don't make it this far being an idiot as a human. So he's smart. I mean, writing's on the wall. You don't have a contract. Look at your roster. Look at what they've handed you.
You're not coming back here.
No, it's over.
It's over. This is
So
your last year here, and everybody should know
yeah,
that. So that's why it's a lame duck season, isn't it? Regardless if you go to, I
uh,
mean, unless
yeah.
you do something miraculous, like if you miraculously make a run and go to a championship, miraculously go to the Super Bowl, I don't believe it, but it could miraculously happen.
If they make the
And we've
NFC
seen,
title, I think if they make the NFC title game and like they go beat the teams, their boogeyman, like because San Francisco's still going to slide in there just because they're division, right? And
or if they
you go,
beat
you
up the
go,
Lions,
you go knock out, you go knock out Detroit to go to the NFC Championship game or some shit like that, right? He'll make it back, but they'll fire somebody. Shoddy will be gone. Mike Zimmer will retire. The O line coach that should have been fired a year ago will be fired. There, somebody will get moved around. Then you get the question of do they bring back McCarthy? And I think you end up with a 2-year deal on that situation. Well, it's weird ass hypothetical because it's how you know how they are. It's how it happened, not what happened. It's how it happened. If you go to the NFC Championship game and get blown out by 40, embarrassed, drug up down the damn field, that ain't the same as going and losing by 3. That ain't the same. And wherever that line is for them is fungible. You know what I mean? Because I honestly I feel the same way. You go there, you get blown up by 40. The hell were you doing? Like, what happened? Like, somebody's going to go. You don't get clowned
right?
like that in the playoffs without somebody getting fired.
Right. Well, I mean, it's you just said it'll be the Jason Garrett thing because Garrett had three mediocre 8-8 seasons, and then your last year you have the 12-4 season. You go crazy on the 12-4 season, and Jerry gives you a 5-year deal. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. That was crazy to me. Number one, that you had three seasons where you missed the playoffs, had 8-8, mediocre. You have one good year, and then you get a 5-year deal. But to me, in my opinion, that was them saying, "Well, see, we told you he was a boy wonder. We see, and they don't want to look wrong, so of course you award him a deal. And guess what happens as soon as you rewarded him that deal? Your quarterback gets hurt. You miss the playoffs because you're a front-loaded team, and then when you miss the playoffs, you go in, you go out. So this feels just like the Jason Garrett thing, just in shorter years now. That's just what it feels like. That this team is not going anywhere with him. So once again, in my opinion, it's like where I hate to look that far, but you were talking about Mike, blow it up. Let's get a top pick. I'm with that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'd rather get a top pick
The
because this
quarter,
team ain't
the
doing nothing.
quarterback's locked in.
So
Your wide receivers locked in.
you
Your
still
edge
young.
rusher.
You still got a young
Yeah,
team.
the Tom Brady Patriots did it. The New Orleans Saints did it with Drew Brees. Indianapolis did it with Peyton Manning. Like all these teams, they'll have a down. They'll go out there, and whether it be injury or whatever, you'll go out there and they'll have like a damn. 4-win season because Tom Brady tore his knee up or something. And then they go and they take that pick and they trade back and they boom, boom, boom in the draft. And
I
then
mean, that's how they got right back in the game after 2015. They had the terrible year. What happened in 2016? They got a top five pick, and they were right back rolling. They got Dak in that draft. They were right back rolling. Hit the playoffs that year. Had won 13 games. They were right back rolling. So I mean, obviously, you probably would have a new coach, whatever, whatever. But I'm not saying team tank it, but I'm just saying I'm not opposed to if your team starts losing multiple games, you're getting blown out. Like I ain't tripping. Like let's get that high pick now because you still got a lot of young talent on the team. You could probably going to have a new coach coming in. He can work with some new things, new toys. Who knows? But I just feel like, regardless, this year is a lame duck season. But you got the Niners. This is your chance. And like you said, Mike, if you don't beat the Niners this week, I don't know. I just
listen,
don't know if you don't beat the Niners this week. I don't know.
my absolute last week for the parachute would be the first week in November. If you're sitting 2 games under 500 the first week in November, you really got to do some self scouting and figure out where you're at as an organization. And I'm talking about across 32
You can play
teams.
Trey Lance, sit Dak.
Now, I'm talking football in general. You got to evaluate how you're sitting there, how and why you're sitting there 2 games under 500 on the first week in November, because we got that damn gauntlet coming up where they play 4 games in 18 days. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you
it's
got
and
Atlanta, you got Philly
boom, boom, boom,
next.
boom,
You
boom.
got Atlanta, Philly. You got
So
some teams coming up.
and like league wide, I think especially since the trade deadline has moved back now. The trade deadline is the first week in November. That first week in November is now the trade. It used to be October. I wish they'd move it back 2 more weeks, but now you have another week to evaluate, and that one game could change everything. I guess you could say that for any week, but you see guys happens all the time. They'll make a trade, then the quarterback gets hurt. Or they'll trade for a quarterback that does get hurt, or anything like that. So that's the risk you take. So they're going to be scared. Most teams are. But that first week in November, if this team was sitting 2 weeks under 500, it's over. They won't dig back from that. It's not like
I
they
don't
have
think so.
somebody. It's not like they have a Isaiah Pacheco sitting on IR that they're going to magically get back. You know what I mean?
Right,
They're not sitting
right,
there. They're not sitting like CD Lamb ain't on IR right now. We're not
right.
waiting for some magical gift to fall out of the sky. Uh, You know, I guess you could count the 2 edge rushers, but an edge rusher doesn't move your win total, your point projection. Really, I mean, it affects the game, but when you're talking about overall point projection for week to week, like Vegas odds, losing an edge rusher or two doesn't really affect you. Maybe a point and a half, maybe. So they have to take down San Francisco this week. They have to because that's the
Yeah,
only
they
shot
have
you got.
this. Yeah, this is the must. This is if you got a must win a game all year so far. This will be the must win game because of what's everything I feel like that would happen after it if you lose. If you win,
Theoretically, theoretically they could, if shit falls right, theoretically they could keep them out of the playoffs. Seriously, if you
because
think,
I
I
mean
mean,
that'd
because
be
they still,
what 3-5 if you beat San Francisco,
yeah,
and they're already lost what three
yeah.
games in NFC West, haven't they?
hmm And assuming
So
Gino doesn't turn it, yeah.
this is a game. This is if you're looking at a game for
I
the
haven't thought about
trajectory
that
for
till
the
right
rest
now.
of the year.
Yeah, you might not have to play them again. Is my point.
Yeah,
You beat them right now, you might not have to play them again if it's somehow way, some
this could
shape,
be
form, or
your
fashion.
year where you could. This is the thing, Mike. It's funny because you got the. It's funny. This is what's funny about this, Mike. I feel like it's lame duck and you got all this crap going on, but this is the time, right? That we seen those Giants when they're ready to fire Tom Coughlin. Everybody hates the coach. The back and forth. We remember we heard about this,
Oh yeah,
with the
they were
Giants,
fighting on the
and then
sideline and all kinds of
fighting
shit.
on all kind of stuff going on, and then all of a sudden these guys magically band together and ride, and they feel what their coach is doing, ride for him. They go on a run, they get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. And we've seen it with the Giants.
And
We've seen it with a
somehow
few other
Eli
things.
Manning plays like a damn
Right.
Super Bowl MVP. I mean, credit where it's
It's
due.
set up
I hate
for it
when
to
people
happen like that, but could the
it,
Cowboys actually do that? Because it's set up for all the bad happening to you right now. It's set up for you to take it, and this will be the game to do it if you were to do it.
I'd rather it happen now than at the end of November like it always does. It seems like that 4 game stretch at the end of November just starts shooting the tires out this damn thing. And we slide into December with 3 flats, a cracked windshield, and a bent valve, trying to hold the damn thing together. And then you run up against a hot team like Green Bay or San Francisco, and they blow your doors off because you just don't have the horses to run anymore. So, theoretically, things could flip. I don't see them making a trade or anything. So that's the only down part. I don't. To
I
me,
hear you, Stevie
as it
Mac. I
sits,
feel you. This will be the perfect season to really do the to get freaky with it because everybody else is hurt.
I had them at 10 wins before people got hurt,
Me too. I had them at 10 wins as
and
well.
I talked about it. I said, I know, I'm well aware that Dak's numbers ain't great right now. And there's towards the end of that last game, he looked like dog shit, but he was not putting, before that, he really wasn't putting bad film out there. And there was a lot of really good passes that got missed. And then these games get out of hand and everything goes, once you're down 20 points, nothing counts unless you somehow or some way come back from that. You're just, when you're up against a good team like Baltimore and you get down 20, you're in for a bad fucking time. We see it happen to every single team they run up against. So, you know, if he keeps playing just a consistent offensive line play, I don't know, man. It's he's going to have to step it up. Everybody's going to have to step it up, and they've got to clean up. The thing that frustrates me is we're year 5 of McCarthy now, and we're talking about the same things we were talking about his first year here. We're talking
Yep.
about the dead ball penalties. We're talking
Yep.
about the game management. We're talking about the
Yep.
fourth down decisions. We're talking,
Hmm.
and this is what I talked about when they said, "Oh, Mike McCarthy's going to take over play calling." I said, "The man can't even keep it ahead of the game as it is, and you're giving him more responsibility." Did you watch that Steelers Jets game where
Hmm.
Aaron Rodgers was about to catch Mike Tomlin with 12 men on the field? Mike Tomlin called a timeout, and Aaron Rodgers was cutting eyes at each other. He's like, "He almost had me." Mike McCarthy would have been halfway up the tunnel eating the damn cold cut trio and got busted. That was right at the end of the half, and it would have gave Aaron Rodgers a fresh set of downs, and it was third and four. That's the type of shit you got to be ahead of. And Mike McCarthy, week in and week out, 5 years in now, still messes up routinely, over and over and over and over again. And we could blame the players. We could say, "Oh, well, Guyton's holding." Well, what's your offensive line coach doing to try to stop that? And what are you doing in practice to try to stop that? When you have these constant pre-snap, inexcusable penalties, if it's not defensive holding, it's false start. If it's illegal shift, it is offsides. Just the inexcusable nonsense that we still put up with. And at this point, you could run up against an inferior team, and I think Mike McCarthy would be the difference in you losing that game if they're a better coach. That's where we're at. I'm not. I'm not sure there's too many worse coaches right now on an actual game day. And I know we could talk about 12-win seasons and all that bullshit. We see it. We watch these games. You watch every snap. You see what I'm talking about. You've seen it for 5 years now,
Hmm.
where
Yep.
this buffoon
He gets
constantly
outcoached.
wastes.
He
He,
constantly gets outcoached.
he wasted an hour and a half. He wasted a minute and a half routinely at the end of the first half, just leaving 90 seconds and 2 timeouts on the board. 90 seconds and 2 timeouts, bro. That's a lifetime in the NFL. That is an absolute lifetime. How many times we've seen Dak come back with 90 seconds and 2 timeouts, or somebody come back vice versa every weekend, and you just Leave it on the board. Leave it on the field. It's shit like that that will ultimately, God forbid, they actually get to a game that matters, like the title game or the Super Bowl. It's something like that that would cost you that game, and you know that. Everybody in here knows
Mhm.
that. In your
Mhm.
soul, you know that because you watch it
Yeah.
every week.
But
And
that's why I
that's a
don't think they make. That's why I don't feel like this team makes a run with him.
no, just football 101
And I'm not trying to hate. I want them to
nonsense,
make a
man.
run, but I agree with you. I've went against you for about what, a year and a half, about
Yeah,
2 years. I went against you for
I,
like 2 years, maybe longer, 2 or 3 years.
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I've gone against you hard with Mike McCarthy. You kept telling me these same things, and I'm like, nah, 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 nah. We going back and forth. We go back and forth. I'm like, nah, nah. But he's a guy that is going to win with talent because he's not a terrible coach. You give him talent, he's going to win games. But ultimately, he's not going to win those big games. And then even when he did win that big game in the Super Bowl, like I said, to me that was more of you're lucky Mendenhall had that fumble. Because if Mendenhall doesn't have that fumble, they probably lose that game.
And let's be real, I'll give the man his flowers. The man was the best quarterback in the NFL and put on a Herculean playoff performance that entire run.
Yes.
That he drug. If you want to talk about one player, one quarterback that's drug a team to a Super Bowl win, Rodgers did it that year. They had like 15 some odd people on IR. He
Yeah.
drugged their ass to the Super Bowl and won that damn thing. So kudos to you, even though I hate your guts, Mr.
I hate
Onion
you
Butt.
guys too.
I,
I don't be saying I hate people's guts. I hate his
I
football guts. In real
I
life, I
used
don't
to
hate your guts.
respect him
But in your
before we
football
know he
guts.
talked. I respected him before he pretended to be a nice guy. Now he's just some pseudo intelligent, nonsense person. But either way, back to McCarthy, it's just I go back to remember the Pats game when Brady was still there, and
Hmm.
we had to go to Lambeau and it was a hurricane,
Hmm.
40-mile-an-hour straight line winds. Bill Belichick knew they were going to win. That he talked about it. All the players talked about it. They talked about it. They were going to win that game on special teams, and they went out there and they won. Neither quarterback threw a touchdown. Neither quarterback threw a touchdown. They both played relatively bad because it was bad weather. But they went out there with a plan. This is how we can win this game. He saw a weakness on our special teams unit on film and went after it. And they won that game off that. And then Gilly talked about, well, I seen Cooper run that route and he got me on it earlier in the year. Or was it? I think he talked about he got me on it in the Pro Bowl or some shit. And Cooper was, he said, okay. And he saw it on film and this down and distance in this situation because you know how Gilly is. He's Hall of Fame cornerback, right? There was that damn outside curl route that Gilly shot in underneath it, and game over. Dak had you in position to win the game. Technically, he lost it, but that game was lost on special teams because I think we missed two extra points. There was a muff punt. I mean, it was just a disaster class of special teams, and that's how they got that. And that was a coaching advantage. I would love to point one out. I literally cannot think of a time since Parcells where they had a coaching advantage in one game. Unless you're playing Matt Rule or you know what I mean, within reason. Like we're keep
And coaches are
hands out.
disrespectful against Mike McCarthy now. You see what
Yeah,
Dan Campbell does. I know he does it,
dude,
but he's
Dan
really
Campbell did
disrespectful
everything
with.
but this. He
He's
might as well just stuck
really
up the double
he was
bird.
really disrespectful to you as a coach. Like if I was a coach, I'd have took that personal what he just did to me at
Mike
that
McCarthy
game. Like
went
I'd
home,
have
ate a
took that.
sandwich, and forgot about it.
Yeah, like I would have took that very personal.
That's still
Like first of all,
I would have lost sleep over that. Do me like that.
that was totally disrespectful. You keep throwing offensive linemen, keep throwing it to him. Like you keep doing it. Like
That would be my
this is that.
motivation to
That's
get
like
this team
little
to the
league.
playoffs.
Yeah, like that's what little league. Like I coached in youth football. That's what youth football coaches do. Like that's what they do.
Dude, I
That's how they rub it in.
that right there, that would have been my villain moment of how we get to the playoffs. come hell or high water,
Like when
contract,
people
no
don't forget
contract,
that.
I'm going to see that motherfucker back in the playoffs, and
Yeah,
I'm
and I
getting
would
mine
say
back.
it. And I would say it at the damn
Yep.
press conference, like, okay, you know what, you got that, but I'm gonna see you again because we ain't gonna let that happen again. Like, I
Put his
would be in
poster
the
on the
press
wall.
conference, yeah, I'll be like, that ain't never gonna happen again. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? But it just felt like he just took it and ate it, just like when they was talking about what Jerry was criticizing him about his concepts. He's saying the concepts might good, and he just says, "Oh, I don't know about that. I'll have to look back and look into that." What? I'll be like, motherfucking Jerry don't know what he's talking about. That's what I'll
Yeah,
say. Jerry don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm in meetings with him every day. Shut up. Like I gave
yeah,
you
and
the
just
benefit of the doubt for 3 years, Mike, but now I have Mike McCarthy. Now Mike, my dog Mike, has swayed me over to the dark side.
Dan Campbell did the equivalent of whooping somebody's ass, throwing their shoes over the telephone wire, and throwing their pants in the gutter. That's what he did to Mike McCarthy. That's some shit that you don't let you just don't get over that. That's how I would have felt getting done that way. And that's how anybody on that team should have felt getting done that way.
Hmm.
He straight up told you to move your hand or I'm gonna hit it and took that belt to ass. And you ought to do anything you can to make sure you even that score as soon as possible, which would be the playoffs this year, assuming the matchup hits. But that's your only chance. Otherwise, I don't know when you're gonna play him again. You just gotta take that. You just gotta take that. Let it. Just, remember, man. Remember when you sitting there with around your buddies, man. Remember when Dan Campbell ran the fade
I
with the
mean, can
tackle,
you imagine? Like, could
and
you
you
imagine?
left for yourself and
That's
you was
like when I
tired.
watched, like that's like when I watched Philadelphia against Dallas with Buddy Ryan and Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy was like, "I don't give a fuck. I don't." But
You don't
this
like
is
me,
what
I
I
don't
bet.
like him.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't give a hell. This is. I bet you when we play again, what's gonna happen? Like, and you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what we love Jimmy. And I hate to go all the way back to the '90s, but that's why we liked our. That's
Well,
what
that's
we loved about our coach because he had the bravado. He didn't give a hell. We don't have a coach like that. That's don't.
but
Is like I don't give a
they
hell what
have to
he told.
they have to believe it. And if you told me that every single player on the Lions would die for Dan Campbell, I'd believe you. He has those dudes ready to play. His post game speeches or some of the locker room speeches are some of the stuff of football dreams, like when you're as a player and a human as a man, right? I mean, we hear them, we all see them. You can't be Joe Judge or be Brian Daboll or one of those goofballs because it comes from a it's not who you are. And they can smell it. It's like how coaches can smell the quit on Amari. We could just they could smell it, and it's when you aren't coming from a place of solid ground and mental fortitude to back the words that you're saying, nobody fucking believes you, dude.
But
Nobody
just
believes.
not that. But think about it though. Think about it though, Mike. After Jimmy, and we knew about his bravado, right? We knew about how Jimmy he didn't give a hell, and I don't even care if it was not Jimmy. Just didn't give a hell. He gonna talk to you in the media. But look at all our coaches after that, and I'm only giving it to Parcells a little bit just because it was Parcells, but he was retired, came back in. It wasn't the same Parcells. He still talked, but if you look
They
at the other
needed.
coaches, look at the other coaches. They didn't have that bravado, and it was almost like they weren't allowed to have that bravado. Like you ain't coming in here you ain't coming in here like that no more. Like whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, you're not coming into Dallas with all that extra noise. You're going basically this is what I just feel like now with this organization. You're gonna do what we say. We run
Cowboys
this.
football.
You get out of this line, then this was gonna happen. Like it's almost like you got to stay in line when you come here and everybody pumping it up like everybody just want to come to Dallas. Like they naming these coaches. You like Ben Johnson them. Why would Ben Johnson and them come to Dallas just so he could? It ain't the glorious spot that everybody tries to hype it to be like it used to be. No, it ain't.
Dude,
Who
they'd have
wants to
Ben
come under
Johnson
Jerry
calling curls,
Jones,
and they'd
bro?
have
Who
Ben
wants to?
Johnson calling curls and
What
slants by
innovative
Tuesday.
coach will want to come to Dallas? What innovative coach would want to come to Dallas knowing that your real voice is not going to be heard? Like you're whatever you came in with that was so great somewhere else, it's not gonna come in here and be great. And that's why I keep on jumping on Twitter, and I don't care what pro players, the NFL, I don't care what y'all say. You're not gonna tell me a Derrick Henry who's having a crazy year. Now I know you said it, Mike. We whipped on that, but you really gonna tell me? I know he ain't leading the league in rushing with Dallas, and I'm telling you, he's not coming here. You just said it yourself with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes would not be Pat Mahomes in Dallas, and Derrick
No,
Henry wouldn't have either.
no. It's a you're here to
He
fall in
wouldn't have.
line.
We would have been
No,
saying, "Man, Derrick Henry regressed." That's what we would have been saying.
shit. Hey, I got to my dinner's here, Bubba. We got to answer this
Okay,
question. I gotta help lady get groceries in. So Charlotte
read that
takes
right
care
there.
of me. Your only hope is that yeah, because she'll get out of the way, and your other only hope is, albeit minor, that Catboy doesn't want to work for a living, and he'll just get out of the way. So
My dog.
on that note, I'm sorry guys, it's a short one. I got my dinner's here. It's late, so wife's home. Love y'all. Thanks for everybody coming in. Safe.
Appreciate you. I'm gonna give me a few minutes. I know I'm looking crazy. SpaceX. It's just my restream went crazy. I didn't have the time to freak my green screen. You know what it is. Don't act like y'all don't know. But I'm about to be out too. But I just want to say this: my final thoughts on this. Just my thoughts. You can't have a voice in Dallas. This is my opinion. You can't have a voice in Dallas. There's only one voice. That's the Joneses. There ain't no other voices. They're in total control and command of this. That's why you see the whole family permeated in this organization. And I'm sorry, as long as that control that goes on with this organization, it's never going to get out of its rut. It's always going to be something that's going to stop it. And people say, well, the players and the coaches, it ain't that Jerry and the man on the field. But like you said, it's the little things. You bring the type of coaches in that aren't really the innovative type guys. It's really the guys that you can control and control the narrative. This feels like not no real guy would come in here and change the culture because the culture would not be allowed to be changed because of what the Jones running. This feels like if you have any kind of boisterous voice or if you have any kind of bravado, you can't have the bravado and come to Dallas. You have to stay in your place and stay in line. That's what it just feels like here. That's what it feels like to me. That's what it's felt like for a while now. That's why you see, I mean, there's no way in hell you should have a Jason Garrett here 10 years. Jason Garrett was here 10 years. Why? Because you can't tell me they didn't control him. You can't tell me that he wasn't their handpicked guy. I was looking at a guy today. I don't know if it's Capricorn when he said something, in my opinion, that was great, where Jason Garrett got 10 years. There is no way in another organization where Jason Garrett would have got 10 years. He would not have got 10 years anywhere else. That tells you right there, like, and then you got McCarthy, who I was on board with. And like I said, I kept staying with Mike, going against Mike. But, you had a really good quarterback. And although I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a winner, you still had an all time great quarterback back there. You feel me? And if you have talent, you're going to win games. But you're not the guy that gets a team over the hump, coach. I thought you were because you won with Rodgers. But the more I just look at things and I hear things in the past, I'm like, no, that ain't going to happen. You're a good coach when you get talent, like for real. Like, but you're not the upper echelon coach. It don't seem like. And when I look at it, I can look at, you know, when soon as it was over with Garrett, McCarthy was there and it was kind of like, let's get this guy because he won this. And it was kind of like you didn't really go out there and look. It was you go with the safe and easy way. Not saying that McCarthy was safe and easy, but it was kind of you got Zimmer back in the fold. That's safe. Like I just feel like if you that's why I just don't have the belief. And I'm not gonna keep pumping it up out there in these streets like, oh yeah, we can do it this weekend, we can do that because things are fundamentally wrong and it happens with this team. Like that's why the mayhem, the mishappenings, this all the stuff that keeps on happening with Dallas, it's just those same things that are always going on up top. And it just always permeates whether you're getting the wrong coach, you don't really look for a real coach, you don't really go out for a real search for a coach. You didn't do it when you got McCarthy. You interviewed Marvin Lewis. You got McCarthy. When you went for a defensive coordinator, who'd you interview? You went and just got Zimmer, who was already been with the program. You when you got your last coach in Jason Garrett, where'd you get him from? Oh, he was already with the organization. He played quarterback for you. You know what I'm saying? You had Dave Campo. Who was he? He was your defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like you went out and got Chan Gailey because he was innovative, but you never really gave him a chance. And I think Chan Gailey made he had a winning record every year, and he was gone after three because of a bad loss. I ain't saying you get what I'm saying. So it's almost like you really don't want to get with anybody from the outside because you don't trust it. So I don't know who'll be in your ear, but you don't trust anything from the outside. So it's all closed in, and that ain't working because it's almost 30 years, and that way don't seem to be working. So it would seem like you would try something else because that way ain't working. And I don't want to keep on hearing they're close, but been close for a long time. Huh? I just can't. I just can't believe those things. That oh, we're right there at the room. We're right there at the rim. We're right there at the rim. Like I said, it'll be a bad penalty at the wrong time. It'll, just and that goes with the coaching, the fundamentals of the players. Like sometimes maybe you don't have the best players like you think you do. I went through the drafts and all the players that went through the drafts that they had, and there's supposed to be all these great drafts, and a lot of those players aren't with the team. You know, and here's the thing: those guys that were on in those drafts, they go on to go with other teams and play better. I don't. It just I don't. I can't put a finger on it. Um, what's going on with this organization, but it just seems like it's one dominating factor of why it's not going anywhere. And I don't want to go back and talk about the 90s any longer. But it just, when you look at it, it was a short run. It was a 5-year run. Free agency was not big, and you came in and nobody said Jimmy was a great coach but he wasn't a bad coach in Miami either. Yes, he didn't go to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't a bad coach in Miami. But he was the coach that the Cowboys needed because they needed somebody to come in like, hey, I don't care who you are. You're gonna come here, you're gonna do it this way, and let's go. Like he had that. Jimmy just had that. I loved his interviews because he didn't give a hell. Like he didn't give a hell. He didn't give a hell about Jerry. He didn't give a hell about nothing. He was all about winning, and this is what we're gonna do. He had the attitude, and the team the team takes on your personality. Like I don't know how people don't think that. Like the team takes on your personality of the coach, everything, and he had that. And once it left, you haven't had a coach come in here that has that type of not just X and the O's, but the bravado, the confidence, it's not there. It gets squelched. You don't have those type of guys now. Those guys are not allowed to come in. And when they do come in, I don't know if they come in the building. Like I said, Chris Richard, I ain't saying he's a great coach, but I just ain't gonna forget when he went ham in that Philly game, bumping coaches, bumping players. We was getting the hype. Coaches, people were saying yeah, that's what we felt like. That won the game. Um, and then you had Stephen Jones saying, "Yeah, we don't like that from coaches doing that." And then all of a sudden, Chris Shaw gone. You don't see him no more. Just, I don't know. Just, ah, just the same old thing to me. So I'm sorry. I'm just not believing it right now. I can't drink the Kool-Aid on this team. And I can't sit there and say, oh yeah, Dallas can do this, and Dallas can do that. When I don't think they're going to do it because they've proven to me so many times that they don't do it. So why should I always keep on having this absolute belief that they're going to win this week? And it's not oh, I'm downtrodden or I'm just a weak fan. And no, it's not. It's not at all. It's a reality fan. It's not. I'm not gonna just hype the team up every single time. And now, if I don't think they're gonna win and hype me, yeah, they can. No, I don't think they're gonna beat this team. It's almost like a reality thing now. It's not a scared thing. Nobody's scared of these teams or anything else. It's just your team's not that good. So why are you going to be hyping them like they are when they're not that good right now? And and yeah, they've had 3 12 and 5 win seasons, but you also got to look at teams they played. you have to go back through those records, and we all have to see that, and you know, just what it is. Um, just what it is. Uh, like I said, this is the. If, I talked about the Giants. They've had mayhem, and they've turned it around and went to Super Bowls. It can definitely can happen, but I just don't believe this team has the fortitude to do it. I haven't seen them do it. Um, and if you were to be a team to do it, this will be the start. Beat the Niners. Um, you like Mike said, you can put them out. They'll be 3-5. They've already lost 3 games in the NFC West, and they're hurting right now. You can basically could put them out their misery. You could probably not play them the rest of the year. Like Mike said, I agree with them. Like you could maybe put this team out of its misery by beating them at home. You could do it. This could be your turnaround game. It could be. You could turn your season around with all the drama that goes on with the Joneses. You this could be the you could have this story, but I just don't believe it because I don't feel like Mike is the coach to be able to overcome that. Even though it happened with Green Bay, just don't think you have that here. It'd be a miracle in my opinion. If I saw it, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. I would have to bookmark this thing. I would be amazed if it happened. I'll be very honest with you. I would be amazed if Dallas did it. It could be done, but if Dallas doing it, I haven't seen these years before y'all overcome adversity. I've always seen this team wilt under adversity in these last 20 years. Wilt under pressure, fold under pressure, don't rise above the pressure. So I'm sorry, like, what am I supposed to jump up here and be doing cartwheels thinking that they're going to be winning all these games when every time there's adversity that comes with this organization and teams and it doesn't do it? How many times have we seen from this team when the chips are right there, when they say Dallas wins this game, they're going to do this. If Dallas just gets this game, if they just win this game, how many years have we heard them say this about the Cowboys? And when they have the opportunity to take it, they have the opportunity to take it. They don't. So I'm just gonna keep on sitting there thinking, yeah, we can do it. And I'm like, come on, dog. Come on. I'm Mr. Pessimistic now. I'm the pessimistic content creator. So for all you optimistic Cowboys fans that just "Arr," that's okay. That's so fine. Like I'm totally not with you on what you believe in, but I'm totally not gonna hate on you. Like, okay, that's totally cool. That's but me, I'm the pessimistic guy now. I've been the optimistic guy. I tried to be the optimist, but now I'm pessimistic, and I'm perfectly fine with being pessimistic now. I'm perfectly fine with being pessimistic content creator. I'm perfectly fine being pessimistic Cowboys fan. I'm not mad at anything else, not my life or anything else, but I'm definitely gonna be pessimistic with this team until it can show it can do other things. It can show it can rise above adversity. I'm gonna be pessimistic when some people say, Dallas, okay, they can win this game. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. That's what it is. It's we'll see. It's not. Oh, we can do it. Oh, Dallas is gonna do this. No, I'm not gonna believe that because they've had too much talent come through this building and they haven't done it when you had plenty of times to do it. So sorry, I'm not gonna just be jumping up and believing in that now. Now I just look at the games like, we'll see if they win. I gave them 10 wins and we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking lame duck season. So why would I be excited when I feel like this is a lame duck season? Why would I hype this team up this year and I feel like they'll win 10 games, but it's a lame duck season? You're going to get a new coach. You're going to get a whole new thing. So why would I just be hyping this? No, I'm not going to hype it. So have fun if you feel that way. That's okay. I'm not mad, and I'm not even mad I feel this way. I'm perfectly fine. Like it's like I think I'm just rambling because I just want to get some stuff off my chest. Like people just feel like when you're a fan of a team, if you aren't super ultra positive or just always saying great things and maybe you don't feel that way, that you're suddenly not a fan of the team. No, you're just not a fan of the BS. And you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna kind of look at this team like we're just always gonna do this when they ain't been doing it. So I'm just gonna keep on jumping on Twitter and jumping on my shows and saying all this stuff, and that's not what I feel at all. So hey, we'll see. You know what I mean? I'm never drinking Kool-Aid again for this team. That's okay. That's what it is. You feel me? Um, I'm not overrating no Niners. Like I said, you can put them out their misery. This is your time to do it. We'll see. Um, but way this current team is constructed from the top to the bottom, I don't see where it overcomes. It hasn't shown me it has been able to overcome without a competent coach at the helm. It hasn't shown me that. It shows me even with a good coach, the talent still has to play perfect football to be able to override. This team can't make mistakes, or it's like this team can't handle adversity. It can't handle mistakes. The team makes a little bit of mistakes. It's like a death sentence. So I don't know, and I don't get it. Um, I ain't gonna use the word soft, but it just feels like, man, when the chips are down, this team don't do it. When the adversity comes, this team just, I don't know what it is. I can't put a finger on it. It's crazy. But I'm out of here. I've been rambling enough. You know what it is. It's Big Game James. I'm out.